Heading into the summer, the biggest question for Manchester United fans was simple. Can the club still attract top players after finishing 15th and missing out on Europe? Well, we're getting answers, and fast. Matheus Cunha is already through the door, Bryan Mbeumo is pushing for a move, and even Victor Gyökeres is interested. Convincing talent? Surprisingly, not the problem. The real challenge lies elsewhere. Selling players. Rasmus Hojlund's future seemed like it would be elsewhere, with Inter Milan interested in the striker, but he assured reporters on the weekend that his plan is to stay at Old Trafford, and that's where United's entire summer window will live or die. Let's break it down. Hello everybody and welcome back to United District. Hope you're having a good afternoon and let's get into it, shall we? So, it's the internationals. We've just saw Portugal win the Nations League. Well done to Bruno Fernandes and Diego Dallo. He was on the bench though, but there were some other games going on and Denmark were playing. And Rasmus Hojlund didn't have a great game, but he was asked about his United future afterwards. And this is what he had to say. So he said, I have a contract until 2030. I don't think it's actually that long, but so I expect to play for Manchester United. I'm looking forward to going on a summer vacation, and then I'm fully dedicated to the project that's underway. I know I can't get much out of reading things. I think he's speaking about the links to Inter Milan, to different Serie A clubs, etc. there. I know what the facts are, and that is that I have a contract with Manchester United until 2030, so I expect to play there, so I'm just getting ready for some summer vacation, and then hopefully a good pre-season. So, yeah, we're not entirely surprised about that, but I just think that this quote, and I mentioned it a little bit in the intro there, that it's a good indication of what actually United are going to struggle with this summer, and it's not what everyone thought. It's easy now, a few weeks on now, that we know that Gyökeres is reportedly interested if we can get the money, and Mbeumo is interested in joining. He rejected Champions League clubs. Cunha's through the door. These guys are still interested. I think after we lost that final and we finished 15th in the league, there were 100% a lot of... I know I was. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments. But I was really concerned, thinking, are we going to really attract good enough players to improve this team a lot? And I think we can do that. But once again, the issue comes back with selling players. Now, I'm going to go through a few different reports here, and it's the same story for a lot of these players who United are probably willing to sell. So Inter would favour a loan move for Rasmus Hojlund, not with an option or obligation to buy, but I think we can all kind of predict that they'll be trying to push that option rather than having an obligation to buy him. Or even if we stick an obligation in, maybe there'll be a 5 million clause for them to get out of it. But yeah, so United are persisting on a permanent deal, but it feels unlikely, and that's why these quotes don't surprise me entirely. Like, the player wants to stay, and United are only probably going to force United would only force Hojlund out, in my opinion, if they know they can get a good deal. So if a club come through the door and say, we're willing to offer you 35 mil up front with another 5 million in add-ons, I think United would snap their hand off and say, look, Rasmus, thank you, but we're going to have to take this offer. And I don't think he would I don't think he'd stand in the way and try and dig his heels in. I think he's a player who, if he was told to leave, he'd probably go. The problem is, going back here, is that interested clubs who have just reached a Champions League final, will not want to put up the cash for United's players. And it's the same with players who are in form, because you could argue, Rasmus Hojlund, why would anyone offer that amount for him? He's out of form. That's the main thing. Well, Antony's just had a brilliant half season at Betis, but they are still, this is from about a week ago, but I feel like the topic hasn't really moved on with Antony, and Betis are still looking for a loan deal, potentially including that obligation or option, but I think these clubs, they know United's situation, and that's what makes it difficult for United, and this is why, in my opinion, this is where United's season lives or dies. Like I said, their summer lives or dies. This is what I said in the intro, because we can attract these players. We can attract Gyökeres, but we can't get the cash for him if we're only going to be getting offered loans for our players. This made me laugh the other day. So Borussia Dortmund have asked to be kept up to date with developments on Jadon Sancho's future. Yep, yeah, that's right. The same Borussia Dortmund who took him on loan last season, or the season before last, now that we're into the summer, were bigging him up, loving his performances, and then when it came to the summer and United went, oh, can you put a permanent fee on the table for him if you love him so much? Radio silence. So, yeah, I don't think much will come of this, and obviously that's a big blow as well. I mean, Jadon Sancho was a free 25 million for United. It felt like guaranteed. Now United have to look and hope that someone comes in for him, which is there going to be many clubs coming in for him in Europe? Because I think Saudi teams will probably offer him a good enough wage, but then is he happy to go out there? Doesn't seem too likely, but I guess we got to wait and see. And then also, you've got Marcus Rashford. He could spend another season out on loan. He wants Barcelona. Seems like Barcelona are pretty keen on him. But that, you can just predict it, can't you? You can predict that this is going to go right until the end of the window, and United could panic and have to give him another loan. So where is the money going to come from to get Gyökeres, a midfielder? I think Garnacho is the obvious one. That's hopefully 50 to 60 million pure profit, which will help United a lot. I think that almost gets you halfway there. It's just that extra 50%. Who else are you going to sell? I think Antony, despite these reports and despite that Betis don't seem to want or are able to offer him a permanent, that could change. Or I do think there will be other suitors for Antony. Sancho less so, same as Rasmus Hojlund. I think Inter look like the best bet, but are they going to pay the money? Are United going to make a compromise? Because I think that's what this is all about, isn't it? It's all about whether United will compromise and how much they are willing to do. Because you'd probably say that United are compromising with a 30 to 35 million fee for Rasmus Højlund. But then clubs are just going to try and kick you down the road and get you down. And is it better for United to accept a 20 million offer or 25 million for Rasmus Højlund when, I mean, you could easily have him stay at the club, be a backup, potentially build some form, and then sell him when he's on a bit of a high? But as I'm saying that, this guy comes into my head again, and I still don't think we'll get more than 30 to 35 million. Let me know what your thoughts in the comments below on this whole situation. Do you think United are actually going to sell well? Because I think last summer, the general consensus was that they did an all right job. I think we got rid of McTominay, we got rid of Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well, two players for about 35 million between them. Then obviously Mason Greenwood left the club, which was expected, and United got 25 million with the clauses involved. It was an okay summer, but with the amount of players who you'd like to see leave this year, and especially with all the reports banging on about how United want a smaller squad because of the lack of European football, things have got to get going soon. I've got no doubts that we can attract the right players. I think we need to start looking at a midfielder soon if the Mbeumo developments happen. Fingers crossed. But I'm still not certain. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think we are going to be able to sell these players? And how much do you think United are going to need to compromise? But for the guys in charge, Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, and the entire team, I think this is the toughest part of the window for them, and it probably will be for another couple of years, because until you're a consistent team who aren't desperate to sell, and you've got kind of a good squad, and you're not desperate to let go of all of these players, then people are just going to try and take you for mugs, and that's what United have been in the transfer window for a little while. Seems like it hopefully will change, but it doesn't look like it's going to be easy. So yeah, Rasmus Højlund wants to stay. He's made that clear. United probably won't push him out unless they get a good offer.
Is that going to come? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.